So your first house of influence this month is the 7th house. The 7th house deals with everything to do with partners. So this can be a love relationship. It can also be a business partnership, or some other significant person. It's a one-on-one relationship. This is not general relationship. This is very specific, one-on-one, somebody who's significant in your life. So it covers everything to do with that. And it seems that whatever your situation is at the moment, it looks like somebody is getting the courage to approach you about a very serious relationship, or starting a serious relationship, or a business partnership, or something like that. Or you are in the sort of feeling that you are needing to approach somebody and take your relationship to the next level, because underneath you have the fire element, the desire card. So this does cover everything to do with passion. So whether this is passion for a business idea, or passionate for somebody else in your life, or it could be you getting the courage to take, steps in this relationship, whatever this relationship is for you. This card is it's a very strong card. It's a fiery card, obviously, but what it does also indicate is, as I said, courage, daring, getting up the enthusiasm, or almost like a fire has been lit. It could be either, as I said, somebody that's approaching you, or it could be that you are approaching somebody else, or you are rekindling something in an existing relationship. This card has the element of it where you're clearing the decks. It's almost got like a scorched earth policy, where things just get blitzed and then you start again and you plant new things. So this could be really just starting something, regenerating, or starting something anew, having a fresh beginning with somebody. Or it could be actually, as I said, somebody approaching you with great enthusiasm and passion, or you exhibiting these emotions towards somebody else. But this is significant, and this is taking it to the next level. You do have the 5th house, which does cover love affairs as well. So you could be taking a love affair now to the next level, or somebody else is going to do that with you, or you are working on something in an existing relationship, or it could be a business partnership that you're starting. So this card is about, it's like a realization, or an epiphany, some sort of turning point, something that just resonates for you and you go for it. So it really can be a very powerful turning point in your life. Suddenly the fire is lit and you know exactly what you need to go for, and you go after it. It's the enthusiasm, the energy, and the decisiveness about this that takes you forward. You could also be dealing with somebody else's ego at this time, or it could be your own ego that is coming up. So that could be a situation, or you could be so enthusiastic or so fired up about this opportunity, or this person, or whatever it is that you're trying to work on. You could be sort of quite fiery and tempestuous about it, or you could be rushing as well. So try to sort of temper that with more sort of methodical, actions, well thought out. By all means be enthusiastic and move quickly, but try not to rush around and just leap into things impulsively, although this does indicate that something will have to happen quickly in this. There are swift changes coming with this card. So we'll see there are other cards which are going to tie in with this. We'll get to that shortly, but certainly somebody approaching you, or you approaching somebody, and it's a very significant situation that is occurring for you. At the top, you have Hathor receptivity. So, it seems to me that somebody is approaching you at this time, but it could also be where you are approaching somebody. But Hathor is saying, allow yourself to receive. This will increase your intuition, energy, and ability to give to others. So this card can also bring psychic awareness in as well. So you could find your intuition is really on point at the moment. You're almost anticipating certain things. But it is also about, it has a very strong mothering energy to it. So there could be sort of aspects of this relationship which involve children. So this could be that you are going to become a parent. or children are involved in this relationship, or there's some aspect of adoption, conception, or child rearing, which may come up with this card. Or it could be that, you know, some sort of instinct within you has been triggered with this. But she's an Egyptian goddess, but her most important message is that you need to be receptive. So whether you are a masculine or a feminine, remember we have both. So with this card, this is the receptivity is a feminine quality. And so if you are a feminine, then dress more in a feminine way. Be more receptive. Be in your receptive energy. You are not to take the lead in this instance, because the fire element, that person is going to be exhibiting, and they need to take the lead. That is why the fire element card is here. If you are the one that is taking action towards somebody, then this is about you listening to them and being receptive to their needs and their emotions and what is going on, the nuts and bolts of this relationship, and the coming together to form something very committed and very serious. So it's about being in that receptive energy that is, as I said, a feminine quality. In order to a lot of people, especially women, or the feminine part of the population, tend to give more. They give, and then they find that they've run out or they've depleted themselves. So in order to balance and bring abundance into your life and bring love into your life, you need to balance receptivity with giving. So they have to be balanced. So you have to be able to open yourself up to receive. So if somebody is approaching you, then be receptive to compliments. Say thank you very much and don't elaborate. Just say thank you. And accept it, take it on board, own it. If they are giving you gifts, be receptive. If they are giving you time or their energy or doing something for you, that is their way of showing you, that their intentions are serious about you. And likewise, if you're in that position and you are the one that is making the approach, make sure that you are listening to this person's needs and you are being receptive to what it is that they are bringing to the table in this relationship or whatever it is that's going on. So a lovely card, very strong card, but Egyptian coming in. This is the first card in this set of cards. As I said, the fifth house, which is the next house on the cards here, the fifth house can be about love affairs. So you could be taking something to the next level. But this card has many other elements to it as well. It is also about children. So this is whether this is your children or somebody else's children that you're involved with at this time, or it could be about you conceiving a child or child rearing. Everything to do with children falls in under the fifth house. So you could be bringing a child into the world with this significant person, or you may need to be needing to discuss this with this person, or it's something that you want to do, or it could be talking to your own children, or perhaps your partner has children. Whatever it is, children feature very strongly. But I do feel, because of the other two cards that are in this set, I do feel that it is also about a great deal of inner child work that you and your partner may be doing together. Because often if it's a really significant relationship, you do tend to mirror each other, and you have got cards here which indicates that this is a very deep relationship that you are working with. This is a soulmate or a twin flame, somebody very, very important, very significant in your life. So there may be hurdles and things that you need to overcome, or just mindsets that you need to overcome, or you need to let go of certain things to become more receptive. So inner child work, if you're going to be working on it, then the person you're involved with is also going to be doing that. Okay. So, I do feel that that is a prominent part of this set of cards. So, but this house can also be about, sporting or recreational activities, anything where you are busy having fun doing, whether it's an outdoor activity or it could be embroidery, whatever it is that you like to do. Some form of recreational activity or sporting activity may be coming in with this, or it could be to do with your children as well, something coming up. And this is tackling, as I said, internal, inner child things, but also it could be a physical manifestation in the children that you are dealing with currently at this time. This card is also about creativity. So this is your particular form of creativity. We're all creative. Not everybody's artistic, but we are all creative. So this is, your particular stamp, your individuality, your brand that you're bringing to the table, your particular way of doing certain things, your flair. And so on. So that can all fall in under the 5th house as well. It is also the house of speculation. So this can be some sort of activity like either gambling, or it can also be about, the stock market, stock exchange, and tracking that as an activity or an interest of, recreational activity or an interest of yours as well. Or it could be somebody that you're involved with. So now why I say there's a lot of inner child work that needs to be done here is because you have the Chiron healing card. So Chiron is very active at the moment for all of us. And Chiron is the symbolic of the wounded healer. So this is usually the uprising of repetitive wounds or situations which are painful, or reminders of situations that were painful, whatever it may be. So this can be something to do with your own childhood, or it could be to do with some other situation to do with children in your life, or it could be to do with a love affair, or it could be to do with some other aspect of your life, perhaps an activity or a recreational activity that you're involved in and you are actually having physical wounds. So this is something that tends to reoccur. So you may have at least noticed it once before, maybe more than once, and it keeps reoccurring. The same feelings come up to do with an event or an old wounding or some kind of situation which occurred in your childhood. And it could have even occurred in your own children's childhood. So something to do with that, maybe bubbling up and resurfacing again. So now, when this comes to pass, it's usually the physical wounding may be reappearing if it's a physical wounding. So it could be an injury or some kind of event that happened that caused a wounding. So it could be a physical wounding, an actual wounding of the body, which is flared up again. And what you have to do in that instance is actually look at the events that were happening around you at the time of the very first wounding of that kind, that was the first one in this series, or the first one that happened like this. So look back at that event or at that wounding and see what was going on at that time in your life, the people involved, the situation, the circumstances, everything about it. You have to pull it all out, however painful it may be. You have to pull everything out into the light, examine it very, very closely, and be brutally honest with yourself about the place that this event or this wounding has had in your life. If it is not so much a physical wounding, but an emotional or a mental wounding, some event that occurred and it's now keeps coming up every so often, something very similar brings about the same sort of emotions and the same feelings again, and it's a kind of a rising up, a kind of a sort of a depression, or a sort of feeling very unhappy, or it's reminders, memories, and so on. The same situation, you have to go back to the original, the very first time it occurred. You have to examine everything around that event, the people involved, what went down, what happened, pull everything out around that, and bring it into the light. And don't be afraid to do that. And if you need help, seek help, because Chiron also deals with natural therapies, natural remedies, and any kind of help from that situation, any kind of natural approach will be very beneficial for you. It can also be medicinal, but if you need to go for counseling or you need help with this, ensure that you do that for yourself. That's part of your self-care, and that's part of your self-acknowledgement of that event. You may have buried certain things about it. You may have pushed down emotions to do with that. And I can absolutely assure you that those emotions are going to keep coming up, and the situations are going to keep repeating until you actually address the issue. So you have to pull it up, the original feelings, however painful they may be. If you need to be in a safe space, find somebody who can assist you with that. Pull up everything to do with that and examine it, bring everything into the light, and acknowledge and forgive all the situations and the people involved in that situation. And this is not necessarily forgiving the person that may have visited something on you or wounded you in some way. It's not about that. It's about freeing yourself from being chained to that event. So you cut the ties to that wounding. You acknowledge that it exists, and you know that that it had a place in your life. You have to acknowledge what place it had in your life. You have to examine that and see what place it has had in your life. How have you, what sort of person have you become due to that? How has it shaped your life? How has it shaped everything about you? And once you bring it into the light, you acknowledge that it's had a purpose in your life. Everything is purposeful. Everything. Once you've acknowledged the purpose and you've seen how this has shaped you, then you can forgive the circumstances and forgive yourself as well, because there's, self-forgiveness is coming up here. You've got Kuan Yin coming in, and that is very much about that. So forgive yourself, whatever part you played in everything that went down. Forgive the circumstances and cut the cords to that pain, simply by acknowledging that it formed a part of your life. Accept it and let it go. Once you bring that into the light, then that is part of the healing process, which is what Chiron is all about. This card is also about spending time in nature, you could also possibly have a mishap of some kind, like a small accident or something, and have to seek medical advice or seek some kind of attention to do with this wounding. But it may be it may bring up emotions to do with something. It reminds you of something. So all of that needs to be looked at. This whole issue of forgiveness is all to do with releasing yourself from the hold that has had on you. You're not necessarily forgiving that person or that what went down, whatever occurred. It's releasing yourself from being tied to that, So that's how you bring it in. But it could also be that you are learning about natural therapies. Perhaps you find something that works for you. You use it to help you in some way, and then you show others, or you tell others about it, or you learn about it as well. Studying comes in very strongly with this card, learning, studying, sort of spreading the knowledge around as well. You may help others by what you have learnt in your life. So all of that, spending time in nature, and working with natural therapies and remedies, even if it's a simple remedy, whatever it may be. But as I said, it could be a physical wounding, or it could be much deeper than that coming up. With Kuan Yin, we have compassion, release judgments about yourself and others, and focus on the love and light that is within everyone. So forgiveness, that is Kuan Yin. That's what she's about. So if this is to do with your inner child, allow that inner child to speak to you, to exhibit the emotions to do with that. You may have buried emotions to do with that. Allow that to come up, and do it in a safe space or with somebody that you can trust, and let it out, or spend time in nature. Do whatever it is you have to do to let those emotions go, and free yourself from being trapped in that repetitive cycle. It could also be just to do with perhaps a current child situation that you are dealing with at this point, and it's perhaps something has come up to do with your children, and so you'll have to look at it and see how it's playing out. It could also, as I said, be something to do with an activity or a physical wounding, or in a sports event, or some sort of sports activity, and you have sustained a wounding, but that there were issues around that. You've got to look at it. You've got to bring everything into the light, acknowledge what part that event or that wounding has played in your life. And, if you want to look up Kuan Yin and learn more about her, as she says, release judgments about yourself, which is very important. Be very gentle with yourself at this time, and let your judgments of others go, so that you can open yourself up to healing, and you will feel the shift, and that repetitive cycle which keeps coming up or reminding you of things will eventually go, especially if you let it go. You have to let it go, but you have to bring it into the light first. Then here we have the 6th house. This is the house of routines of all kinds. So this can be workplace routines. So this can be workplace, work colleagues, the actual work that you're doing, and it can also be mastery of your craft. So you may not go to a workplace, but you may be working on something where you have projects that you're busy with. Whatever is your craft, it's mastery of that. This card is also about health, diet, and well-being. And you've already had Chiron, which could be a physical wounding, as I've said. So something may be coming up to do that with that. It could also be diet-related or well-being related. Your well-being comes from dealing with these issues, helping your inner child to express itself, and dealing with all kinds of issues that affect your well-being. And your health also is obviously everything is deeply rooted in you. Everything starts from fears and angers and disappointments and negativity. Everything mushrooms from there. So your health and diet may be under review at this time. This card can also be about pets.